Hi everybody, well it's official, DayZ Update 1.21 will be going live on the 23rd of May next week, so probably sometime on Tuesday afternoon, a few days from when I'm recording this video. So in this video I want to talk about what does this mean for you, mainly as a console server owner, but also as we'll talk a little bit about for PC server owners as well. Maybe this is your first update and you're thinking, what do I expect? What do I do? What does this mean? Now the first thing you'll know is that for 121, for official servers, DayZ, they're going to do a wipe. They're going to wipe everything out. So what this means is your character will go back to being on the beach on Chernos or up north in Livonia. All the loot will be reset, all the bases will be deleted. You'll be starting again from fresh on official servers. However, on your community servers, the ones that you own through Nitrado if you're on console, or maybe through some other providers on PC as well, is you don't have to do that. And I personally won't be doing it because I delete my servers, I refresh my servers every 6 months, and so really it'll be June, the end of June, when I do mine. So you don't have to do a wipe, but there are some things you do have to do. So what will happen? Well, sometime, normally on the afternoon of the 23rd, keep an eye on the DayZ Twitter, and what will happen is that they will put an announcement out saying PC servers are going down, and then they'll put another announcement saying, oh, they're coming up now, and they'll do the same for console, maybe PlayStation and Xbox separately, where they say, right, okay, so they're going down now, and they're going up now. And then what will happen is you'll get a notification probably on your Nitrado dashboard that your server has been updated, and your server will go down and then it will come up again. Sometimes they get stuck, so you may well have to go into the dashboard and do a restart. And what will happen is you will notice in your dashboard that the version will have been updated. It will be version v1.21 point something or other. However, it's very important to understand that when your server gets updated, it updates the DayZ server.exe, so the program that runs the server. It doesn't update the mission files, and the mission files are the ones that have all the good stuff in them. In other words, the new crossbows and the new armor. So what you can do is when you get the notification, go to your dashboard and just check the version number, see if it has been updated. Then the other thing you could do as well is if you go into the file browser and then go into your mission, so PS missions for PlayStation, XP missions for Xbox, just missions for PC. Go into Chernos if it's a Chernos, obviously if it's a Livonia server it will be Enoch. Go into the DB directory, and then what you can do is you go into your types.xml. Okay, now sometimes they can take a little bit of time to load because it's quite a big file. Click somewhere inside it and just do Control F and search for crossbow. Right, and as you can see, I'm getting none, so there's no crossbow. So I know, for example, at this time, this server hasn't been updated to 1.21 files, which of course that is the case because the 1.21 hasn't dropped yet. However, what you can do is once your dashboard goes to 121, if you do that little exercise just to check that you haven't been given the latest XML files, you shouldn't have been done. That shouldn't happen. So it should say version 1.21, but you shouldn't have things like the crossbows or the armor in your types.xml. So you've still got the 1.20 XML files. So what we need to do is you'll need to update your XMLs. Now, if you actually fancy, I do want to do a reinstall. I want to wipe everything, just like they are on official servers. You could do that if you want to, but before you do that, what you probably want to do is go into your config files, and you'll want to create a new manual config. You can see here, I've got one for each wipe where I've done a wipe of the server. So call it something like, I don't know, May 23 wipe, and you would create that, and that will save all of the settings on your server, so that if you do decide to do a reinstall, once you've done the reinstall, you come over here and you restore it, and that will mean that you'll then your things like your server name and your whitelist and all that sort of stuff will be there. However, you don't have to do that. But to give yourself the latest XML files, what you do need to do is you go into the general settings on your server, and if you scroll down, there's a really important bit here. Reset mission XML to default. And when you tick this and then you save that and then you restart your server, When the server restarts, Nitrado will then apply the new 1.21 XMLs and JSONs to your server. But remember, by doing this, if you have edited XMLs and JSONs, they will be overwritten with the new vanilla ones. So just bear that in mind. So that if you have any edited XMLs and JSONs that you want to keep, make sure you've already downloaded them to your local PC and that you've started to edit them to include the new items, however you want to do that. I'm going to show you kind of a little bit of how to do that in a minute. So you'd say reset mission XML to default, save, restart. The server will restart. Once it's restarted, untick that, save it again, and you'll be good to go. At that point, you would then go back into your file browser, go back into your types.xml, and what you should find, if you then do a Control F and search for Crossbow, you'll find it's there. And as soon as you see 1 for Crossbow, or it'll be more than that, it'll be like 5. Once you see that, you know you've got your server is updated to 1.21, and it's got the latest XMLs on. And then you're good to go. You can tell your people, there we go, we've got the latest XMLs, go and find the armor, go and find the crossbows, go and have a good time with the latest update. And that's basically it. Now, you may well be saying, well, wait a minute, Rob, I've got edited XMLs. You know, what do I do? How do I update them? Well, we're kind of running out of time now. You should have already probably started thinking about doing this. But if you're still thinking about how do you do it, in order to create new XMLs, what you need to do is you need to have a copy of the vanilla 1.21 XMLs. And the way that you can do that now, the way that you can get that now, really the only real way is if you own DayZ on Steam on PC. And really, if you've got a server, you probably should own DayZ on PC, even if you don't really use it that much on PC, because you'll want to use this facility. And what you can do is, if you own DayZ on PC and you have games and tools open in your library, you can download the DayZ Experimental Server and DayZ Server. So DayZ Experimental Server, if you install that, you don't play it, but just install it. What you'll find is where Steam installs your program. So for my case, it's Program Files, Steam Apps Common. We have DayZ Server, DayZ Server Experimental. You go in here and you go into the missions, and it will have all the 1.21 XMLs and JSONs. So you can then go into there and you can start looking at them and using for example, the compare plugin for Notepad++ to compare the files with your ones, see where the differences are, start editing your XMLs and your JSON files, so that when you've included the new armor and you've included the new crossbows, you can then re-upload them over the top of the existing XMLs on the server. Once it's gone 1.21, restart, and you'll be good to go. Now, if you're still scratching your head at that and saying, oh, this all sounds a bit complicated, don't worry. I've already done my boosted loot files for DayZ 1.21. So what I'll do is, in the description below this video, I'll link to my Churnerous 1.21 boosted, my Livonia 1.21 boosted, and my Hardcore 1.21 as well, which actually has less food, less zombies, and less ammo, that sort of thing. So that if you want to, you can use these. Now, these are very easy to install. All you do is you download the zip for the files, you extract it on your local PC. Once 1.21 goes live on your server, reset the mission XMLs to default. So you're going to do that thing we talked about where you tick that, save, restart, and then all you then do is you then go to your file browser and you upload these files over the top of the existing ones. So you go into your mission root directory for your CFG event spawns, gameplay, spawnable types, etc. And then you go into your DB directory for events, globals, messages, and types.xml. Don't bother with read me, that's just the instructions on how you do it. And that's all there as well. So it's easy to follow, easy to do. Upload those, restart your server, and you'll have a very nice boosted loot Churnerous or Livonia server with more crossbows on it and more food on it, and you will enjoy your way that way. So that's how you can do that one. Now, if you're saying, well, what about PC then? What's going to happen on when I do it on PC? Well, PC can be a little bit trickier, because if you have a PC server through Nitrado, let's find a PC server. Here we go. So this is a PC server. Unfortunately, there is no reset mission XMLs to default. So if I go into my general settings and we scroll down, we can't reset mission XMLs to default, which is a bit of a pain. So if you're on PC and you want to be preparing your files now, in other words, and you want to have access to the latest DayZ XMLs to upload them, you really need to be on top of your game with Steam, and you'll want to subscribe to Experimental Server, probably, but you'll definitely want to subscribe to DayZ Server. And what will happen is, on the day when DayZ gets updated and your server gets updated, DayZ Server will have an update, and that will then download the latest XMLs for 121. If you want to do it sort of now, you would do Experimental Server, but on the day, DayZ Server 121 will get updated, and then you can go into your computer where it normally saves DayZ, where Steam puts all your programs. So in my case, it's C, Program Files, Steam Apps Common. See, there's DayZ Server, and you'll be able to go into there, and to check that it's updated, you'll be able to go into the missions, go into churners, for example, go into DB, go into types, do a Control F, and you would search for Crossbow just to see if it's there. And as you can see, I mean, these are 121 files, so they're not there. But when they are there, that's been updated, and then you can upload those files then to your remote server, so you can then have the latest 121 files. That can be there's quite a lot of files to upload, as you can see. It doesn't take too long as you're using FTP, though. I mean, you could even do it over the web browser, it wouldn't be too difficult. So while we're here, actually, we might as well have a quick look at, say if we look at DayZ Server Experimental, just to show you. If I go into the missions here, if I go into churners here, if I go into DB, if I go into types here, and I do a search for the Crossbow, there's the Crossbow, just to show you what it would look like when you actually find those files. And when you've uploaded those files to your Nitrado PC server or from another server provider, you would then just restart your server, and then you'd have the latest 121 update. So there we go. Hopefully that's been useful. Remember, I'll put the links to my boosted loot files and my half loot files in the description below this video. If on the day you find that you keep checking your Nitrado console server and it says it's updated to 121, and you reset the XMLs to default, and the Crossbow, for example, isn't coming up, don't worry. Just have a cup of tea, wait for an hour or so, and then come back to it, because it will happen. And sometimes it's not unknown for DayZ to have some problems on update day where its stuff might not happen to the evening, but just don't worry about it. It's just play a different game and then come back to it, and then install the files, and you should be fine. Okay, so hopefully this is useful. Hopefully it's pre-armed you, ready for what's going to happen on update day. Remember, if you've got any questions, comments, put them down below. If you've enjoyed the video, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe, and I will of course see you again soon.